Keeping with the theme of websites.
Right. So this one, I'm more out of my depth on this one than I would be other stuff because I'm in a room full of web experts and data analytics as well. But this is a tool made by Microsoft that kind of complements Google Analytics. It's their own tool of it. I don't know how many of you in the room have heard of Microsoft Clarity. How many of you have used it? How many of you currently use it, though? Other than that, it tends that number always gets left. You do, yeah? You dabble a little bit. Cool. So Clarity is, yeah, like we say with analytics, it is free. We can install it, and I've got it installed on our Techosaurus website. So if I have a look in here, much like with Google Analytics, it's going to show you the same sort of information you would be seeing in Google Analytics, but not necessarily in as much detail. And when we look on here, we can see things like where people come from, what browsers they're on, sizes, operating systems. There's some extra bits of information in here. We can see where people have visited. So at the moment, this has a filter on here of the last 3 days, 20 visits, how far they've scrolled, how long they're on the page. But the one thing that this does do that's quite interesting is it records those sessions. So we can kind of go one step further than what you're looking at with Google Analytics. And they kind of complement each other in a way. So if you want to know a little more about where are people visiting on my website and where can they see what I'm doing, they provide these things called heat maps. And those heat maps are, as someone is looking on a site, where are they going? And where are they clicking? So this is a live version of the site. We can scroll around and we can see where our clicks are happening. But where this comes as well is if I click on here and look at view recordings and go into this one here and play, this will show me somebody visiting live on the website. So anybody that visits my website, it's recording and showing me what they're doing when they're doing it. So I can see their actions when they're moving around, if they're filling out a form, what they're doing, and it shows those same events as well. So when you were saying about those conversions and stuff, it's doing that, and it gives you just another kind of vector to see what people are doing. So this one's quite interesting. When you see people reading articles, Google Analytics will tell you someone's read an article. This one, you see them skimming the mouse along, and you can actually see, well, what bit of the article actually drew their eye. And with that, if that's fantastic, I know that there's more that I've written here. They like that content. We've got lots of people looking at that particular piece of that content. How can I write more that does that? So if any of you were to visit our website now, a little thing will come up on here and tell me there's someone live on the website, and I can literally watch as you're doing it. I can see you scrolling on your phone and doing all the bits you need to. I can't see outside of the website, but yeah, we can see what you're doing. This does then tie in quite nicely with the Google Analytics, because you can link your Google Analytics into it. And a small set of that information from Google Analytics will come into here as well. So we can still apply those same filters. We've got up here at the moment, this is in the last 7 days. I can customize this, but it's pulling some of that information in alongside, which kind of will just give you just a little bit more information. On its own, I don't think there's enough information here for it to be a competitor, and it would never be a competitor. Alongside, and the fact that Microsoft allow you to link the two accounts together, I find is really interesting to then see, what is hot on your website, what are people looking at, and where are they going. You on there at the moment, Rich?
I'm staring at your profile picture.
Are you? That's not weird at all. Here we go. One user is online. So if I press watch now, and we click on here, so I can see you're on an iOS, so your mobile device. I can see you're scrolling around on there. I can see where you're tapping on the screen. I can see where you go. I can see if you open the little AI bot, the bottom right-hand corner.
There's a bit of a lag on it. I'm on the news at the moment.
Yeah, obviously there's what is recording eventually comes through to us here. But we can record back. Every point on here as well is a click point. So where have you clicked, what you're doing, where you're going, as you're navigating around that page. Where it gets really cool is if I go back to the dashboard on here a second, this has got Copilot baked in. And obviously everything I try and show you guys has got a little bit of AI in here as well. But on here, I can ask things in plain English. How many people have visited the site in the last week? And we can ask AI that, and it's going to go and have a look and pull that information for me, so I don't have to go and try and find that information in the reports. So on here, according to the data, the total number of visits in the last week is 30. And then it's got, do you want some more? Yeah, what were the most visited pages? How did those, how many of them came from a mobile device? So those sort of questions that you want to ask, it can help. And it's pulling that information from both Clarity and from your Google Analytics as well. So they work quite complementary alongside each other. You've got to obviously install Clarity on your site along with Analytics, Google Analytics for it to work. There again, when we go onto here and we go to settings, it is quite easy. Obviously work with your web developer on here, but when we go on here to actually set it up and install it, where is my overview? You've got a tag here. So this is your project ID. And when we go into our setup, it gives you a install manually, just a bit of code that you'd put in your website. You'd give to your web developer and say, can you put that on there for you? One place.
Speed of the website, was it?
It does show you. So there's a couple bits on here. Mine. I've tried to get this down as low as I can. It's not as bad as it used to be. So JavaScript errors. And load. Yeah, you are getting loading speeds. Where am I looking? Performance overview.
If putting that code in it, is that affecting the speed of the website? Or is it not really noticeable?
Be an interesting one to compare. Let's have one here. I've changed that to 30 days. Here we go. So performance, largest content paint, good. Yeah. I haven't noticed when I added it, and when I've got the recording on there, I did just some simple. I was just visiting my website and seeing if there was any noticeable lag for load. Didn't really get anything. As long as your code is obviously quite tight. I know when people do it with WordPress and stuff, if you've got loads of other plugins and stuff, it might be able to get in the way. But yeah, and as we can see on here, we've got more stats now: top pages, top entry points, top exit points. I don't believe. Yeah, it does. So referrer, we can see it's come through from LinkedIn. It's not as I haven't installed any of the UTM stuff like you were saying, but I do get a little bit more information about where my people are coming from on here than I do on Analytics, and I don't know how Microsoft have done that. But yeah, on here we've got sources, where they've come from, what they're doing. Where it gets quite cool as well is something I've been playing with. Obviously, I do a lot of stuff in 365. If we go back to our Clarity, my projects, this one here, we look after the Cadbury stores in the UK. So they're a retail store. They have an intranet we built for them called the ChocoNet. This works really well for if we need to support them. So anybody that visits that SharePoint site, we've actually installed Clarity in the SharePoint site. So we can actually see then, if someone was to call me and say I had a problem on the intranet earlier, I can go into here, go to the recordings, find that person. I can see it's them because it says they're logged in at the top right-hand side, and actually see the session after they've done it. So when they said, oh, I was clicking on this and I couldn't get this to work, and we've got that kind of evidence then where we can go in and have a look. So on here, if we look at our recordings, let's have a look at, so a lot of the stuff they do on here is for their stock takes. We can see as they come on, they're logged in, they go into their stock takes as they're browsing around on here. I won't show too much because there's obviously lots of information on there. But once they're in that SharePoint site, as soon as they leave the site and they're looking at files, so as soon as they're outside of folders, we're not recording anymore. It's only showing us when we're in the web browser, what is a website. So that's a SharePoint site. We've also written a plugin that we can use Google Analytics in SharePoint as well. So it works really well for intranets. If you need to understand in your business who is using your intranet, what pages are hot, what's being used, we can get those analytics directly into SharePoint as well. So I quite like it. I think it's a very interesting tool. I certainly don't use it to the level of things. Yeah, I want to go and play and find a little bit more, like you were saying, spot those trends and expand a little bit more on there. But if anybody's got any questions, want to click any buttons because they haven't seen this stuff before, please let me know. If not, I will hand over.
It's a good interface, though. That's the key thing, isn't it? It's just visually appealing.
It's not a very Microsoft-looking product.
No, it's not.
The fact that we've got all these animals and things in here as well. There's a completely different team that are making it.
Yeah.
It's very, very user-friendly.
And just a reminder, you want to get rid of your IP address in there as well, so your own traffic.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Cool.
Any questions from anyone else? Good.